So you want to find out how successful people manage their time. Well, they identify the most important thing that they need to do, then eliminate everything else, and then spend long, uninterrupted blocks of time executing on the most important thing. But if that's all I said, then it would be a very short video, and I want you guys to watch for longer. So what I'm going to tell you in this video are the 3 fundamentals of business that all of the top entrepreneurs agree are the only things that you should do. This is relevant to, again, identifying the right things. Then I'm going to show you the software stack that I've literally compiled over years of working with 100+ entrepreneurs that makes it impossible for you to do literally anything else. So again, this is optimizing your environment. So the important thing is all you have to do, again, eliminating everything else. And then I'm going to tell you the secret missing puzzle piece that all of the top entrepreneurs agree is the only way for you to never fall off. And then as a bonus, I'm going to show you a gamified system that I've created that ties everything together. And no, I'm not going to charge you for access. It's completely free. And this system, ladies and gentlemen, is going to make work so damn effortless for you that you should probably worry about getting addicted to working. So firstly, what are the 3 fundamentals of business that every single entrepreneur agrees are the only things that constitute the growth of a business? So I stole this directly from Alex Hormozi, but he says that there are only 3 main drivers for the core economics of a business. The first one is getting more customers. Okay, it's very simple. So you get customers. The next one is you make them worth more. So either make them buy more often or keep them for longer, or maybe increasing the price. So make your customers worth more money. And the last one is increasing the enterprise value of the business. Now, basically, when we're talking about enterprise value, this is relevant to people that are wanting to exit their companies, build equity, and have a valuable company. This isn't relevant to cash flow necessarily. And 99% of people aren't at the point where they need to consider the importance of enterprise value. For most people, it's not even about making their customers worth more, keeping them longer, so on and so forth. It's just getting customers. And again, this is what Alex Hormozi says, that before $1 to $3 million a year, the constraint of most businesses is just that they aren't getting enough customers. So the constraint of your business is probably advertising. Advertising is the process of making your product or service known to your market or whoever the hell it is that you're selling to. Now, what does this boil down to? This boils down to inputs. So again, how many dollars, tangible dollars, are you actually spending on ads? How much reach are you getting on the content that you post? How many messages are you sending? How many calls are you making? If you sell via DMs, how many DMs are you making? This is probably the constraint of the business. So even though initially I told you that there's 3 fundamentals of business that are the only things that you should do, probably the case is that you don't need to do number 2 and you don't need to do number 3. You just need to do number 1. Now, if you have a very high revenue number and a very low profit margin, then yes, you probably need to focus on number 2, right? But for 99% of people, it's just this, right? And I actually take this a step further. Alex Hormozi says $1 million, $1 to $3 million a year. I say $1 to $3 million a month. I think now with the availability that you have with advertisers like Meta and Google and God knows what else, LinkedIn, you have so much access to such a large piece of the market so intentionally and so efficiently and so quickly. You can literally start spending on ads today and start getting your dream customers tomorrow. You have a level of access to such a large pool of people that at this point, there's no excuse to not scale to that point by just advertising, by just getting more customers. So again, this is the most important thing for most businesses. It's advertising. And this also freaking sucks. Nobody wants to do advertising. All the shit that I mentioned. Who wants to spend money on ads and have Mark Zuckerberg objectively tell you that your ad creatives suck? Who wants to post content, receive a whole bunch of hate comments? I think I might be projecting a little here. Who wants to send messages to people, get rejected, and have people asking, how the hell did you get my number? Same thing with calls. Who the hell wants to get rejected off cold calls? I have entrepreneurs that I work with that we keep accountable live and hourly. By the way, if you're interested in that, I'll talk about that more, but we're also hosting a free 6-week focus challenge, link down below. But cold calls are literally the epitome of rejection. Like, you get rejected like most of the time. People that cold call like 300-400 times a day. And when I get to number 4, which we were talking about, the gamified system, and number 3, the secret missing puzzle, you won't have to worry about doing shit that sucks. But when we're talking about cold calls, it sucks so much. Like, most people that do cold calls just want to kill themselves. Same thing with DMs. Like, again, it's all rejection. It all comes down to a fear of rejection, and it sucks. And that's why most people don't do it. Next, let's talk about number 2. So what is the software stack that makes it impossible for you to do anything else? Now, again, this is just relevant to your digital environment. So when we're talking about the software stack, we're talking about a few apps here. Now, there's multiple of these apps that you can use, but number one is social blockers. Okay, so you have social blockers like ClearSpace, and ClearSpace is the one that I've been using for a long time, and it allowed me to go down from like a 13+ hour screen time to like a 3 hour screen time now. And it's basically an app that restricts stuff on your phone. The same thing applies to your laptops. There's something called social something, I forgot. Just search up how to block insert distraction, social distraction, and you will probably get some sort of software that allows you to do it. ClearSpace is just the one that I use. There's an extension on the MacBook, on Chrome, on Safari, so on and so forth that I use. And there is an app on my phone that I use. I pay about $50 a year for it. And don't skimp out. Let me tell you something. Life hack. Pay for stuff, okay? Pay for stuff. Even if you don't need the features, pay for it. Because when you pay, and I'm going to draw an eye here, even though that looks like a fermented olive. I don't even know why I said fermented. When you pay money, you pay attention. When you pay attention, you actually use the shit that you pay for. And this is the important thing. So again, if you pay for it, you're going to actually use it. Second thing, these are again the most common types of distractions digitally. So we have inbox centralization. So again, a lot of people have notification problems. A lot of people have, again, essentially they get distracted when somebody messages them. So you can use an app called Beeper. And again, there's 1,000 of these apps that you can use. Beeper is the app that I use to centralize all my inbox so that I can essentially turn everything off at will. Honestly, these are the only two ones that you need, but I'm going to give you guys a bonus here. One of the best blockers on Windows and on any device is Cold Turkey Blocker. And again, this is a software that you can download, and it's essentially the most foolproof form of blocking anything and everything that you want to do. But this is very important. Most people that eliminate this stuff, that aren't making money, if you're not addicted to YouTube, if you're not addicted to Instagram, and if you're not addicted to responding to people on, messages or Slack or so on and so forth, always putting out fires in your business instead of actually working, then you're probably not eliminating fake work. I have to make this a point in and of itself. Fake work probably kills more businesses than screen time addictions. Because again, what did we say? Identifying the most important thing. That's what successful people do, right? The only three things that you can do are either get more customers, make them worth more, this is getting quite messy, or increase the enterprise value of the business. In your case, all of your work should be relevant to advertising. So anything that is not advertising is fake work that needs elimination, and you should never do for the life of you. Next, what is the secret missing puzzle that all top entrepreneurs agree is the only way that you never fall off? And I'm about to give it to you right here. The secret missing puzzle, every single top entrepreneur agrees, is the important thing is accountability. And you don't have to trust me, you can just listen to that.
To your point, even of alternative education in general, when you say, hey, you could learn this stuff on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. The issue that we're solving for is not that it's not a knowledge gap. The issue is an accountability gap, is that people don't do stuff.
There's a service that just sells accountability. They literally just like, whatever your goals are, we'll just hold you accountable. Like that's it. It's all they sell. And I think you get, some touch base every week with somebody who just like, you said you were going to do this. Have you done it? What's the plan for this week? Basically, they just help people prioritize and eliminate. And I think that's pretty valuable.
We know what to do, but we can't do it because we don't have anyone observing us and anyone holding us accountable.
When you have someone looking at your stats, when you have accountability calls, it's like there's no running anywhere. You know what I mean?
Accountability is important because that's how you're going to get leverage. That's how you're going to get credibility. It's also how you're going to get equity. And if you have high accountability, that makes you less replaceable.
The thing is, I'm sure, relevant to everything else, you probably know that you need to be advertising. You probably know that you shouldn't be scrolling on YouTube or Instagram or watching this video right now. Please subscribe and keep watching. Actually, no, I'm here for your betterment. If it's not good, then don't do it. Everybody knows they have to go to the gym. Why don't people go to the gym? Why don't people do the most obvious things that they know are going to get them the outcome that is desired? And that's because they don't have any sort of external accountability. Let me give you an example. If you look at, and I say this all the time, if you look at any successful basketball player or football player or any professional at the epitome, at the pinnacle of their game in sports, they all have coaches, right? Why do they have coaches? They have coaches not because the coach is better than them, not necessarily. Now, the coach might have experience, so on and so forth, but a big reason for why they have it is accountability. Not just accountability. I'll get to the important aspects of accountability that you need to implement, and I'll give you a tactical tidbit on how exactly you can implement it today. But they have them for the sake of accountability mainly, because the coach ensures that the player is always executing at their highest level every single day. That is the main job of the coach. And if you think you can do this yourself, if you think that you can go into the world of business and succeed on your own, then you are essentially going against a long-standing principle of external accountability. When we're talking about stuff like internal accountability, and again, the stuff that I was talking about before, the secret missing puzzle, it's not discipline. It's not motivation. A lot of people say, if you keep scrolling on your phone or if you're not focusing on the wrong things, you're probably not going to be successful. No, this is incorrect. If you can't keep promises to yourself, you're not going to be successful. This is completely incorrect. If you can't keep promises to yourself, make promises to other people. Internal accountability is very ineffective. Why? Let me spell accountability here. I can't talk and spell at the same time. Internal accountability is extremely ineffective for one reason and one reason only. There is no consequence. When you have a coach that is waiting for you to show up on the field to actually ensure that you play that day, or you have a personal trainer at the gym, or an entire class. They call this the group fitness class effect. It's literally something that exists in empiricism, which is a fancy word for science. It's a scientific phenomenon. It's a scientific thing. You have no consequence. Obviously, you're not going to change your behavior. There's only two fundamental ways that you can change behavior. Behavior is only changed either by reward or punishment. And the thing is, punishment is a much greater and more effective motivator than reward is. And this is actually what we do at my company, Compass. What we do is we literally, to keep entrepreneurs accountable to everything that we just said, not only do we give them the software stack, keep them accountable to keeping the software stack, we actually track their execution second by second. So every single second that they work, they are tracked live. We literally assign them what we call an executive systems manager, because again, there's a whole bunch of systems that we put together, like time blocking systems, so on and so forth, accountability systems. And then we put them all together. And this executive systems manager basically reviews the entrepreneur working live. Okay, this is the height of accountability. For example, if you have, let's say, a digital personal trainer versus a real personal trainer. With the digital personal trainer, what you do is every time you go to the gym, you check in, you send them a message, so on and so forth. This right here, the digital PT, is not going to be as effective as the real personal trainer. Why? Because the real personal trainer is literally right there with you. He can tell if you're pussing out on the last rep or whatever the hell it is. So he can tell pretty easily because he's right there. So that's why real life human accountability is very important. And just using a software or using some sort of tracking thing is not enough. I'm telling you, there's a software called Rise that I used for a long time that basically tells you exactly how much time you're spending on everything, on every tab, on everything on my MacBook. Okay, it's a very good application, but there's no human accountability. And that's why it didn't do anything for me. And by the way, if you want these systems and you're an entrepreneur, we are giving them to you for free for a limited amount of time. We're taking on, I believe, 6 to 8 new established entrepreneurs, and we're hosting a free 6-week focus challenge where we give you all these systems and everything else. And our goal with this challenge is to add revenue. So we identify the constraint of the business with you, ensure that the software stack is properly installed so that you're eliminating all the distractions and eliminating all the fake work. And then we keep you accountable second by second, live every single day with a dedicated coach that literally builds out an entire centralized system and hub for you. And then this is what we do. And again, this is relatively dangerous and I wouldn't recommend this for everybody. We gamify the experience. So we add stuff like streaks, we add stuff like reviews, so on and so forth. We add feedback loops. Again, adding feedback loops to stuff is a form of reward. Now, these are so powerful that in some places in the United States, they're literally illegal. For example, paying truckers in real time in California, I'm just going to write RT because I'm speaking faster than I can write. Paying truckers in real time in California is illegal. Now, if you search it up, it's going to say it's not. I don't give a shit, okay? There's some nuances to this, but basically, when they actually used to do this, they used to pay truckers for literally every second they were on the road. You know what they would do? They were so rewarded for it, they wouldn't sleep. It would cause accidents and all that, because again, they were being paid for every second that they worked. And it's the immediacy, how quickly you get rewarded. If you give a dog a treat 1 second after it jumps or sits or whatever you're trying to train it to do, versus if you do it 2 minutes later, it's 90% less effective or something crazy like that. I think Pavlov ran the experiment. So again, the immediacy of the reward is the most important thing when it comes to changing behavior, because what I said before is that punishment is the most effective thing. And again, we have punishment-based systems that we employ for the entrepreneurs that we work with. But if reward is immediate, if you immediately gratify people for something, it causes addiction. That's why people get addicted to substances, because again, it's an immediate reward. That's why people get addicted to their phones, or that's why people get addicted to short form content or video games. Because again, the feedback loop is so quick, it's so immediate. And what we try to do is we try to make the feedback loops for your work as immediate as possible. Now, I understand not all of you guys are entrepreneurs. Not all of you guys are established entrepreneurs. Not all of you guys will be eligible to work with my company here at Compass. So what is a form of accountability that you guys can essentially employ that is one of two things? This is what accountability has to be. Number one, it has to be professional and it has to be external, okay? So these are the two prerequisites to good accountability. Professional means, again, it can't be your friend, it can't be your brother, it can't be your sister, because again, there's no teeth to the accountability. My drawings are so stupid. Because who's going to keep your friend accountable? Who's going to keep your brother accountable? Again, it has to be professional. Again, if it's your dad or so on and so forth, it doesn't work. If it's your business partner, it might be able to work. This is actually what I've been doing for the longest time. This is a form of accountability that I stack on top of everything else I do. I basically say, actually, the video that you're watching right now is a real live example of this. The only reason why you're seeing this video is because I literally have a contract that I make with God, because I'm a believing man, so I can be externally held accountable and professionally by God. But I also have an ESM, and the ESM, the accountability coach, enforces that contract. I say, if you guys don't get one long form video a day, provided that it's recorded, or if I make a report to my business partner and it's a reasonable thing, and my business partner is he's a tougher guy than me. He's a tough guy. So if I ever ask him, hey, I can't upload a long form today because of this reason, he won't always grant me a report. He won't grant me leeway. He won't always cut me slack, essentially. But if I don't post a long form video, I lose 1% equity in my business to my business partner. This is on a contract, on a legally binding contract. I swear to God, as an addition, as a stack of accountability on top of that. And on top of that, my executive systems manager actually keeps me accountable to doing that every single day. The second thing, again, that I mentioned before is that it has to be external, right? So again, professional, and that's why I said it's a life hack to pay for stuff. When you pay for stuff, again, you initiate a professional relationship. Then the second thing is external. So it can be you, because you are frankly unreliable, and there's no shame in this. This is how human beings are by nature. There's nothing wrong with this. One system that I found that does this effectively that I talked about is a contract with God. And I'm not going to get into it in this video because I made a detailed video about this before, and I'm going to keep repeating myself. But essentially, an external contract that you make with God. No, you don't have to be a religious man to do it. But essentially, it fulfills the prerequisites of both professionalism and external, provided that you have a very strong belief in some sort of external force. But even if you don't, the contract part of it makes it an external piece of accountability. It's nowhere near as strong as having a dedicated person just there to ensure that you do your thing. But it's pretty darn effective, and it's the best thing that I can give to you if we can work together. But if we can work together and you are an established entrepreneur, 3 6-week focus challenge down below, link in the description. The thing is, we've been so capped, we've been so blasted because it's a free offer, obviously. I recently had to train 3 new ESMs, 3 new executive systems managers to actually come on board. And it took literally months before I was actually happy with the quality of work they were doing. I actually had them keep me accountable directly so that I could ensure that the quality was at the level that I wanted it to be. Now, we won't last very long. I know this for sure. If you're thinking about it, go down below, apply in the link in the description. We do not accept everybody if we're not a fit to work together. Again, we try to ensure that we can add direct revenue for you. No hard feelings. It is what it is. For everyone else, ciao. Take care.